race. Alan van der Merwe fourth across line. Oh, and that is a huge accident at the entrance to Clearways. Very nearly takes our cameraman. Oh, and it's the two teammates, Torgraves and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that's no afternoon nap. Lewis Hamilton is out for the count in that car. And the marshal there suddenly realises, and really now just checking out the situation. But let's see what happened here. This is actually the exit of Clearways. Our camera actually pointing across the track there, and there's the incident. Wow, that's about as close to our cameraman as we want to see an F3 car. The good news is Lewis Hamilton, who was out for the count there with that side-on impact, is now conscious and starting to take notice. He's out of the car. Got two wrecked Manor Motorsport cars heading back to the pits.
OK, but yes, on that, there we go.
And that is why, once again, George Russell finds the barriers around the Monaco circuit, and that brings a torrid weekend to a close for the driver that started this race in fourth position of the championship that's taken him out.
Sorry guys, made a mistake. Not the rear and ended up hitting the car.
Yeah, just because it is sort of clipped. Yeah, it's the curve there, you see the car, it just bounces. When it bounces, actually the front end where he's got a little bit of turn to the right grip.
Now look at Ocon, he's having to go around the outside here for third place. He's going to try, it's going to fail. Oh, there's contact further back as well. And Max Verstappen getting caught up in that. And that was all because they were switching around, trying to avoid one another. And so Latifi, who got collared, I think it was Latifi, who was sort of switching around the track. Verstappen had nowhere to go, coming down into turn two. So here's Giovinazzi in front of Ocon. There's Verstappen trying but failing to avoid Latifi.
And he's perfectly placed now for a run at him, Kelvin, but which way can he find a gap?
Chilton covering the inside. Chilton messed up the last corner. He was very slow around the roundabout, and Perez has done him around the outside, but Chilton right on his gibbet.
He's off!
Shoveled him out the way.
Oh, Sergio Perez is off. Now he's got to find a forward gear, and he's beached on the curves. Oh! And that's Teixeira.
Another look at that, and Chilton seems to have it all crossed up there, and his front wheels are actually off the ground. Another angle, Perez passes him on the outside under brakes, and Chilton seemingly swerving and steering a bit, but that's a clumsy move, and then Perez was beached. Ricardo Teixeira it was who came around the corner. There he is, and clouted straight into Perez's car.
And they're, Aiken going very wide and getting very close indeed, into smacking into the Vries in front of him, and a smash into the wall, and another one. That's Leclerc, our winner yesterday, and we'll have another safety car. There was an Arden off the road as well, and Leclerc, who was not happy in these conditions, sees his race come to a close. So Jake Dennis and Tatiana Calderon, so that's Calderon in the wall there, and Dennis spun around.
So if there are any moves on this lap, it's going to be in the background. There'll be Assen Van Afterdonk on Sekiguchi. Oh, there's cars everywhere. Magnussen in the middle of the track. It's a safety car. Got to be a safety car. There's no way of clearing that up. Carlos Sainz Jr. climbing out of his car, and that's Huell Lloyd behind them. This accident had already happened when we come to the replay. There's no way of telling what happened there, or indeed how it happened.
And off the start, watch to see John Lancaster, the Englishman who's been so strong in qualifying the Vortec car, gets very sideways, almost hits, and Pierre collides. Where's Ricciardo? Ricciardo rolls out of the race. Steam pours from the radiator. What an absolute disaster for both of the front row men. And look at that, just got oversteer, maybe too cold tyres, just so much power going through the rear tyres there. Watch from Ricciardo's onboard, you can see gets sideways one way, I think maybe of trying to avoid making contact with Guerrieri. It just flicks back the other way out of his control.
Beckman now has got to calm himself down. It's not easy defending, granted. There's a big accident. That's Norris airborne coming down to the Mercedes arena. He rolls and rolls again. Lando Norris had hit the back of David Beckman. The red flag is shown straight away. The race is stopped with a minute and a half on the clock, and a big accident. Lando Norris, let's have another look. Launched himself over the back of David Beckman's car. So that's one big impact as he lands, but then it gets worse because as he spins, he heads for the gravel, and as the wheels fold underneath the car, so it digs in and over it goes once, and it goes over a second time, and then of course he ends up upside down, which is always pretty scary for a driver.
The man who led in Barcelona leads now, and Thomas Enger looking down the outside, then the inside of Junqueira, and it is slippery. Look at that, 3-4 cars go off without oh, now there's contact.
Oh, dear.
Fernando Alonso, one of them that goes off there. That'll be Ricardo Mauricio underneath him. It looks as though the second Nordic car, or was it even Justin Wilson, may have gone off there. But 2 or 3 of the cars that ran out of traction into the first corner, coming back across the track. And as a result, the huge Nürburgring first corner car park once more open for occupation. Salins goes off into the gravel here. So too does Minani Nasion. So too both the Nordic cars, Derek Mower. Oh no, and there's the Fortec machine. Oh really, it's just far too many cars going in far too many directions, and that's a complete lottery. Once that happens, you may as well close your eyes and just point it in any direction, Gareth. You're never going to predict what happens. No.
Contact there, Melville McKee spins off, takes 2 other cars with him.
Faster than the rest of the field, and he's going to clobber the barrier. Oh my word, Pierre Gasly. He brushed it on the exit of turn 19, the final corner of the racetrack, and he's absolutely clobbered the wall at Saint-Devote, as we saw Felipe Massa do in Formula 1 first practice. Pirelli logo off the tyres, so that was into the final turn, and then just way too hot, and removing the rear left wheel in the process of the accident. So Gasly really pushing, which is great for us to watch, but he's overcooked it, and he's lost half an hour of data. You see the oversteer into the corner, never really had it under control.
Oh, and our first accident at Macau, and it's just at Hospital Bend, somewhat ironically. Someone could also be used. There we go. Yeah, I mean, a simple crash, that's what I mean. He just ran out of road, and it's what happens is you get to the top of the hill, you brake, and it's bumpy, and then you don't brake as hard as you like.
There is the number 11 car of Fabian Schiller, which has made very good progress from 15th on the grid, and a huge crash there. Barrel rolling over. That's absolutely massive, and it's Lance Stroll. Now, we saw the start of that incident. Stroll got the move on Giovinazzi into the chicane. Looked like Giovinazzi was coming back at him on the way out of the corner, but that is a massive crash. Look in the background there, wheel to wheel. He's got his nose in front of Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's almost got a wheel on the grass, and then just loses grip, spears into the side of Stroll, and Stroll is just a passenger. And happily, the car landed the right way up.
Roberto Merhi crosses the line in 4th. Oh, dear me! Oh, no! Terrible crash as Nicholas Latifi plows into the back of Roberto Merhi's car. Merhi slowed down immediately after the start-finish line, and Latifi launched off the back of him. I do hope both those drivers are okay. Latifi had been defending from Tom Dillman and was obviously so busy doing that. Well, he had no reason to expect that anybody would have slowed down so soon after the finishing line. It's a completely unnecessary accident, and I'm sure we'll see ramifications from this.
That's within 100 metres of taking the checkered flag that Roberto Merhi was going at, what, 50, 60 miles an hour?
And we saw Aitken on the attack yesterday. We know he's got great straight line speed, and he's proving it once again, going to the outside. Oh, huge accident. That is a massive accident, surely there on the back straight. I think that's Alexander Albon. The safety car immediately deployed. What happened to Alexander Albon? Oh, my word, he's just lost it. And that is such an unusual place to go off. And there is the contact. That is so easy to do. It's remarkable we don't see it so often, but thank goodness he went in to the Tech Pro barrier.
Really struggled away at the start. He didn't get as bad a start as Max Chilton, but not great. Oh, and he spun it here. He was trying to avoid contact there. That's Valtteri Bottas and Sam Bird. And here's how it all started. We're in 4th with Daniel Ricciardo. In front of us, Valtteri Bottas misses the apex, gets on the curbs, still tries to make turn 9, spins, and then gets collected right behind us by Sam Bird, and it's those two cars in the road that Walter Grummeler spun, trying to avoid.
Und damit auch gleich mal 2, 3 Positionen verliert. Und dahinter sortiert man sich ein. Oh, da gibt es einen Treffer. Drudi geht raus, dreht sich und trifft einen Piloten. Das könnte der Chinese Guang Yongzhou gewesen sein, der jetzt wieder zurückkommt auf die Strecke und sich dann verhakt, quer durchs Feld rodelt. Ja, Drudi hat da nicht die Rolle gemacht, sondern rechts im Bild. Das ist Drudi, kommt wieder zurück, geht da auf, ja, das müsste Walter gewesen sein, los. Und dann in Überschlag vorn.
Die haben da munteres Wechselspiel praktiziert. Ja, Esmayer ist tatsächlich Sechster. Guan Yongzhou ist hochgerückt an die 7. Position, ist damit wieder neuer Spitzenreiter. Da gibt es einen Riesenabflug und das ist Schumacher. Mick Schumacher auf der Start- und Zielgeraden. Safety Car kommt. Und damit wissen wir, wohl aller Voraussicht nach wird das keinen Restart mehr geben. Gestern in der Remus und heute aufgespießt, ja oder nein? Ich vermute es fast. Ja. Ist das ärgerlich? Ist das eine bittere Pille? Thomas Preining bei seinem Heimspiel nimmt Mick Schumacher auf die Hörner und dreht ihn quasi in die Boxenmauer hinein. Schumacher zum wiederholten Male also an diesem Wochenende hier in Österreich nicht im Ziel. Wollte es rechts probieren, da hat Schumacher die Türe zugemacht, dann geht es halt nach links rüber und hat dann nicht beachtet, dass er so viel Schwung drauf hatte, ihm schon im Heck zu sein, drin zu hängen.
The green flag is waved, the red lights go out, the race gets underway, the 75th running of the Pro GP, and Lorandi makes the perfect start, cuts across, Lance Stroll gets into the lead of the race, and there's a crash already further back, we've got cars pointed in the wrong direction, 2 have come together, and then there might be a pile-up, one of the Prema cars is in there is a pile-up, nobody can avoid them, well the Muka Motorsport cars get stuck in all of that as well, Maxi Gunther weaves around 5-6 cars that are stricken here. Couple of drivers slow off the line. Great start for Lorandi at the front of the field. Sergio Seti Camara was one of them who got a bit of a tag by the looks of things. He's the one who's running the wrong way down the circuit. Then, everybody else getting caught up and involved in that pile-up just with nowhere to go. Cars all the way across the course. Then you can see Seti Camara and sent around and pointed in the wrong direction. Everybody else then hurtling towards him, and he just sat there waiting for the worst to happen. But thankfully, it doesn't look like it was too serious. The Muka Motorsport car there, which I think is David Beckman,